In March 2025, when the Trump administration gutted funding for the United States Agency for Global Media, it effectively dismantled the news outlets USAGM funds, Voice of America, VOA, and Radio Free outlets, and silenced independent news that reached more than 420 million viewers, many in countries where the press is heavily censored. RFA was the first outlet to report on the Chinese government's mass internments of Uyghurs in the Xinjiang region, which prompted investigations and sanctions on Chinese officials. Now, 75% of Radio Free Asia staff have been furloughed and 90% of its freelancers have been suspended. Other independent news sources across the world, from Egypt to Ukraine, are similarly falling silent. For more than 80 years, USAGM affiliates have provided hundreds of millions of listeners with vital information. Over the past month, these critical voices have been silenced for the first time since their inception. It is vital that Congress protects USAGM, ensure the safety of its affiliate journalists, and reaffirm the U.S. government's commitment to a free and independent media at home and abroad.
Hey everybody, it's Mark Taylor-Canfield, and you're watching the MTC Report. Independent news, music, art, and culture. Tonight I'm talking about World Press Freedom Day again, because it just passed us on May 3rd. World Press Freedom Day as designated by the United Nations. So there were conferences all over the world where journalists were getting together to talk about freedom of the press and other pressing issues to journalists. But freedom of the press is one of my main focus points as a journalist, and I think about it quite a lot, especially lately with Trump administration running things in the United States. It's pretty apparent that we're in trouble in terms of threats to freedom of the press. So, especially with all the lawsuits that have been filed against his political opponents in the press. He's described the press as the enemy of the people, so we know where he stands on that. The World Press Freedom Index is released every year on May 3rd, World Press Freedom Day. And the United States dropped once again, as it has every year since 2002, when we were ranked 17th in the world in terms of press freedom. We are now ranked 57th in the world in terms of press freedom by Reporters Without Borders. You know, as an American journalist, I am not proud of that fact. It's something that you're not going to hear reported on your local news or the national networks in the United States. You can hear about it if you watch Reuters or BBC or DW out of Germany or other international news organizations, but not in the United States. It's a self-censored story. It's not the government censoring these reports. It's the fact that the corporate media itself, and even progressive and public media, doesn't want to talk about it. I know, because it's my job to inform them once a year around this time, and brief members of Congress and other people in my field of endeavor. And this year I have to report that I've gotten not much better of a response as I got than I got last year, which is very little. The United States media still doesn't really want to report on the fact that we're ranked 57th in the world in terms of press freedom. So that hasn't changed. The only website I know that did report that was Axios, who I did contact and sent briefing material to on the World Press Freedom Index and World Press Freedom Day. So I hope that I helped make a difference, at least at that one website, to get the word out. But the majority of the U.S. media is not reporting it, so you're not going to hear this anywhere else, folks, which is why you should support the MTC report and the things that I do. If I do say so myself, because there's a real lack of information on this anywhere out there in the United States. So I just wanted to check in with you all. I do serve as executive director for Democracy Watch News. We're a nonprofit news organization, and I gave a presentation earlier today, gave a webinar about press freedom issues protecting the First Amendment. So it's an issue that is near and dear to my heart, and I will continue to speak out about, because without press freedom there is no democracy. That's just the way it is. It's in the First Amendment for the reason that without freedom of expression and freedom of the press, there can be no democracy. So I know these days, there are some people who don't seem to care whether we have a democracy or not, but I, for one, feel that it's the obligation of every journalist, every editor, producer, news publisher to speak out on this issue, to report the fact that we are ranked 57th in the world in terms of press freedom by Reporters Without Borders, and to be willing to do some self-criticism about why that is the truth. We see certain news networks kind of falling by the wayside one by one, acquiescing to the Trump administration, and that is not freedom of the press, folks. Bowing down to power because you're afraid you're going to be sued is not freedom of the press. So just let's make that clear. So if you go to Reporters Without Borders website, you will find information about the World Press Freedom Index and why the United States is ranked 57th in the world. And it's really important, I think, that Americans, or North Americans, or at least, people in the United States read this and come to terms with the fact that there are real threats to freedom of the press in the United States, and be honest about it, report it, and address it, and come up with solutions. Because the United States is the one country where the idea of freedom of the press was ensconced in the Bill of Rights, in the United States Constitution. So the world expects us to stand up for freedom of the press and set an example for the rest of the world. And for quite a while now, we have not been doing a good job of that. And under the present administration, that's obviously not true. So I'm reporting it. So subscribe, hit the like button down there, and tell your friends about what I do, because I'm not getting paid to do this. I'm not running any advertising on this video. I just want people to hear the truth. And I'm Mark Taylor-Canfield, independent journalist and musician here in the studio. As you can see, I've got musical instruments around me, all the things I love so much in life, like drum sets and guitars and keyboards and things like that. And I do perform regular gigs in Seattle. So if you're in Seattle, come and check me out. But for now, I just wanted to talk about World Press Freedom Day once again. And I have been running some videos that kind of point out some of the things that are happening in the United States right now. And this is one of the issues I wanted to address. This is Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle. If you happen to be in Seattle during the Northwest Folklife Festival, I will be performing on the K-Prom Welcome Stage on Memorial Day. So if you're in Seattle for that 3-day event around Memorial Day weekend, on Memorial Day, I will be performing my music, along with a lot of other really great musicians who do this once a year. It's a free festival, by the way. It's amazing. The musicians get paid, but the entrance fees are free, so there is no fee. So I hope you can make it if you're in Seattle on Memorial Day weekend. This is Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle. Support your independent media. Go out there, be a proactive consumer of media, and find those people that are telling the truth, that don't have a corporate sponsor, or who are not just mouthing the words of the present administration or right-wing oligarchs in this country. And support them, send them money, help them out, make sure that they can stay on the air, because these are troubled times where the media is under duress. This is Mark Taylor-Canfield in Seattle for the MTC Report. Stay tuned for more information about freedom of the press and fighting fascism in the United States. Thanks for watching. I appreciate it. And check out some of my music videos. Check out my music video, Mother Freedom, on YouTube.